Hello everybody, I know I look a mess, it's quite early in the morning and I haven't yet bathed, got shaved and all the rest of that, but what the hell, this is an ideal time to do a video because it's like fresh. It's like I received this private message here on YouTube, please ignore the noise in the background, that's the washing machine. Okay, this message says, I recently found your channel while searching for videos about astral projection. Your OOBE astral projection meditation full video is quite interesting and I hope that it proves to be helpful in the long run. And after watching but a handful of your other videos and taking an all too brief look at your website, I felt compelled to contact you. Why? Well, your videos are generally quite entertaining, thank you. And you do seem to approach fields which I would consider to be quite speculative with an open and intelligent mind. I was hoping that if you had time, you could tell me how you got into the psychic supernatural realm and what your overall impression is. Well, my overall impression would be that people who are involved in psychic stuff need to get a lot of better thinking in place about the subject. That's one of the many motivations for me to carry on getting these videos out. You know, it's important for me to think that people who are making big claims about the fact that they're doing this thing which they say, in inverted commas, works, should be thinking scientifically about it. The fact of the matter is I don't think it's quite that clear cut. Even Aleister Crowley called it unempirical, therefore suggesting that the word science, in the natural science sense of the word, was in fact inappropriate for occultism. My personal journey was through having some strange experiences, which made me want to ask questions and to try and experiment and explore as far as I could, and that led me into various different social groups to which, to be honest, I'm quite embarrassed about having been involved in the past, but I learned what I could and I then moved on. So it's a question of having some strange experiences, wanting to have some more, experimenting with things such as meditation, practicing meditation, and trying to learn how to use whatever skills I could possibly get together to try and attempt to do something. That's it in a nutshell. Okay, I still have questions that I want answers to, but I'm pretty aware that there probably aren't any hard and fast answers. The private message goes on and says, I realize you probably have many other things which demand your time. Yep, like the washing, having breakfast, plenty of things demanding my time. And that I could probably figure out some portion of my request by watching more of your videos. Yes, please do. There'll be a button up there which will take you to my channel. Use that and just type in all kinds of random search words into the search box on my channel, and you'll get to some videos which could be of use to yourself. The message goes on. But I shall do this over the coming days, and if you do respond to this message, then all the better. I'm an atheist myself. Okay, that's that's a way in which we differ, but never mind. And as such, have never been interested in using Ouija boards, as some of your viewers so amusingly put it. However, I did watch your video on why atheists should use the Ouija board, and it's fairly spot on. Whilst holding little or no regard for religion and folklore, I do have an intense interest in the abilities of the human mind. And if others can have out-of-body experiences, then I damn well want to experience this myself and make what I will of it. Okay, well in that case, do what I suggest. I suggest the same thing to everybody. Okay, get that book by Sylvan Muldoon and Hereward Carrington called The Projection of the Astral Body, and bloody well live by it. It is a fantastic book, and it will give you a lot of perspectives. Although some of the beliefs that Sylvan Muldoon, the principal author, jumped to, I actually disagree with, the methodologies and attitudes he's talking about as far as how to try and attempt to generate the phenomena appears to be very, very good. So think about it and use it. Okay? Private message goes on. So, rambling aside, where do you sit spiritually? You seem to have no affiliation with any religion, but your interest in what we have thus far referred to as a supernatural goes so far as I see you actually refer to yourself as a psychic. If you'll forgive me asking the question, which I admittedly probably find the answer for when I read through your site tomorrow, why are you a psychic and what is it that you do? Okay, let's just try and start from the top of this section. Where do I sit spiritually? Well, that's going to change from time to time. I call myself a trans-deist, which means applying reason to spiritual experiences, as far as I can discern. And I will therefore use religiosity and anything else I can lay my hands on to give me the suspension of disbelief that I require to try and generate any apparently supernatural methods. I have chosen, as a result of having chosen everything else, or tried everything else as far as I can tell, Christianity is my structure to be able to do such a thing with. And I'm doing so with the full knowledge that there is no hard and fast proof that Jesus Christ ever existed and that God ever existed either. Okay, but I'm using that as the mythological basis and background and structure for what I do and all the rest of it. And then on top of that, most occultism has had a very strong Christian influence, either that or it has actually come out of Christian exploration into religious experience anyway. So why don't I just go back to the original faith, so to speak, rather than going via any like neo-pagan attempts to do something which has basically come straight out of Christianity. So you might as well call me a Christian who is full of doubt, and so on and so forth. I mean, my point is that, one of my points is that human beings, no matter how well educated they are irrational. It is therefore rational to choose a form of irrationality which does the human being some good. And that means, basically, a religion that you feel comfortable with, or a spirituality that you feel comfortable with, but without having to go to the lengths of making hard and fast truth claims of, oh, God does exist, yes, or, oh, Jesus Christ really is the Son of God and you've got to bow down and worship him, or if you don't use the secret word Jesus, you won't get into heaven, or any of that. Because, like, chill, like, just chill out, just like, and I can understand why people have developed a disregard for Christianity, because there are far too many aggressive evangelists who don't fully understand what they're talking about, and don't really have people's best interests at heart, and are basically just a bunch of wankers. So create it yourself on any structure that you see fit, if that's what you want to do, and if you don't, then basically that's fine by me. I don't really care either way. I personally think that having some kind of ideological structure which you yourself create, which has some kind of, if not theistic, then deistic or related components, could actually do an individual some good, because you're inserting into your mind's eye some ideas which are positive on a regular basis through the mind-altering activity of prayer, meditation, study of text, and all these things are there to alter the mind somewhat, whether it's in a meditative way, bringing about more of an alpha-theta balance, or whether it is through, suggestion and dripping ideas into your brain, and so on and so forth. So you can find something which can be good for you, and you can call it your own religion if you want, so go for it. But you might as well actually call me a Christian if you want. Okay? Right, now the next bit, you forgive me for asking a question which I'll admittedly probably find the answer to when I read through your site tomorrow. Why are you a psychic? What is it that you do? And how do you explain the mechanisms which allow you to do what you do? What I provide, as I've said this continually, is I am providing an entertainment service which provides some form of therapeutic benefit through the benefits of a conversation. Alright? The word psychic just means using your mind, and that means everybody. And it doesn't mean a question of supernatural phenomena, it just means using your mind. M-I-N-D, the thing inside your head. And so what I use it for is to try and find ways of using conversations and forms of religious ideas that the clients would find easy to get on with, a way of helping people. That's it. Do I believe in, psychic phenomena? Well, sometimes when I'm doing my reading calls, things will pop into my head seemingly at random, and I will mention those things to the customer, and they may have some very strong correlations with something from their life which I personally could not have any real knowledge of. I've also had, I've had strange experiences happen in my life. I once worked in a pizza restaurant many years ago, and there was a girl there who wanted me to do a spiritual healing on her back, and I placed my hands about that far away from her back, And inside my mind's eye, I did sort of like religiously prayerful things and visualized light going down my arms into her back and all the rest of that. And she claimed that she could feel, in her own words, fire and lightning coming out of my hands. I've had experiences like this. You know, people have told me this stuff. It's for someone like me who wanted to be an electronic engineer when I was a kid. Okay, it's weird. All right, yeah, I still find this stuff weird. I always will find this stuff weird. Does weird stuff happen during, you know, reading calls when I'm dealing with my clients? Yeah, from time to time it does. But to the most part, what I'm trying to do is that they come to me with their relationship problems, their family problems, their work problems, and they want, you know, a solution to it all. I can't always provide a total solution. What I can do is try and help them to try and deal with the problem. So it's a combination between counseling therapy and entertainment. In reality, okay, that's essentially what the job really entails in practice. And it's important that people remember this, and they should remember this, because I've been saying it for 4 years on this channel. And it's rather upsetting when people forget, and you know, someone on the other side of the planet says, well, what colour underwear am I wearing today? Well, how the fuck am I supposed to know? How do you explain the mechanisms that allow you to do what you do? We can't say what the mechanism for any of this stuff is. We just don't know. I mean, I could create some kind of hypothetical model of how all this stuff works, or supposed to work, or hypothetically works, taken from religion, or quantum physics, or string theory, or, I don't know, just some crap that some new ager wrote in some popularist book that was really badly written, and say, yeah, that must be how it works. How on earth are we supposed to know? If you are like a rational atheist, then, you know, how are we supposed to know? Think. We don't have any means of knowing at all. I mean, bloody hell. How do I explain stuff? Well, I don't. I choose not to. There's no point. It's just, but there is a point in trying to continually have, or trying to have more of these strange experiences, because they're curious. They say something about us as human beings because we have the capacity to have these experiences, but what they say we don't know, and what they seem to suggest does not necessarily mean to say what they really mean, because we don't know, and we can't know. We can't ever know, ever. Throughout the whole of the future, we won't ever be able to know. So therefore, my curiosity is about how this stuff is generated, how we as people can use meditation and visualization and all that cool stuff to try and get something strange to occur. Whether it's something small and psychological, whether it's something bigger. I don't think it matters. I think that it's the fact that I'm trying to get some kind of extra experience there. I'm looking out for some kind of, if not an explanation, then something which would provide us as a species with some kind of extra insight as to what we have become, what we've evolved into. Maybe it's all a question of evolution. You know, we have evolved to the point whereby certain types of people under some strange circumstances can have the capacity to have some strange experiences at some point in time, and we don't know what it means. I mean, once upon a time, my sister was living up north, about a couple of 100 miles away. And I drove up there, I think it was for New Year, you know, just going around the nightclubs, you know, getting drunk, having a laugh. I was in late teens, early 20s at the time. And I woke up one morning, and I was grasping my jaw. And I couldn't work out why. I was sitting on the edge of my bed, in a position that you would be in, the kind of posture you would be in if you were in extreme agony, and I was grasping my jaw, and I couldn't work out why. Next day, I called my mother, and it turns out that she had a very bad tooth on the same side, and it was at that same time of night when she was in most pain. These things happen. They just do. It's controlling it that's the difficult bit. message goes on. I've mentioned twice now that I may find out all of this information myself, but damn it, I'm a sucker in actually talking to people and getting information from the horse's mouth, as it were. Don't take offense at that, but you seem like a very well-spoken and intelligent horse. Yeah, but I've got worse teeth than a horse, though. Okay, it says here, I hope you find time to respond. That's what I'm doing now. In the meantime, I'm off to work on my astral projection. Okay, get that book by Sylvan Muldoon and Harewood Carrington. Just get it. The Projection of the Astral Body. Get it. Buy a copy of it. Study it like mad. Obsess over that book until you get an experience. It took me about 2 years to get my first big, proper, total conscious exteriorization, and it was weird. And I had lots of other little experiences on the way to getting there, but it was... when the big one came, the big one came. Okay, it says here, I imagine this will be a time-consuming endeavor, but hopefully it will bear fruit. While I'm here, have you ever used binaural beats? Yes, frequently. Or psychedelic drugs? Well, when I was younger, but that was only pot and infusions of hops, stamiana, catnip, and wild lettuce, and I would not recommend either, or any of them, because I really don't. I seriously wouldn't. Meditation machines, binaural beats, yes, they are very useful in self-training. Okay, but you play around with it. It's very good to teach you the concentration that you need to be able to do like proper meditation. And from that, with the help of visualization and other things, it can all work out very well for you. So, yeah. Hypothetically, I could be saying all this stuff. You could spend ages trying and not get anywhere. And if you don't get anywhere, then at least you'd have had some time of learning how to do meditation, and you'd have learned how to relax. I can't prove anything to you. All I can do is tell you what I've experienced. And that's a bit soul-destroying at times, but, it's the way it is, and we all got to accept that. Okay? And if you can't accept that, well, I'm sorry, I've tried. Look after yourself. Good fortune, God bless, chill out, be at peace with the universe, or not as the case may be, and yeah.